Oh, wow. Amazing. How exciting. The rockets glare. It's such a historic moment. Our secretary is here the first time. This is incredible. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fadi Osman, owner of Sierra Space. It's a great honor to welcome our Secretary of War and his distinguished delegation to Sierra Space. The Secretary has been clear about his priorities: supporting the warfighter, moving at the speed of the warfighter, broadening and strengthening the American space industrial base, results over process, hyper-focused on efficiency. At Sierra Space, these priorities directly align with who we are and how we operate. Our culture is based on a sense of urgency, driven by a deep purpose for our mission. As a privately owned American company, we move fast, lean forward, and have invested billions to counter the threats our country is facing. Our focus is clear and simple: defending today, defining tomorrow. This requires space superiority, achieved through relentless execution to ensure peace through strength, through innovative and resilient systems, through significant investments in scalable manufacturing and automation, through open architectures that expand the industrial base and competition, through our dedicated workforce standing right here. I am so proud of our team across the country, united by a shared purpose to deliver mission-proven technologies with courage, bold action, and tenacity. Speaking of tenacity, behind me stands a dream chaser, America's space plane, called Tenacity. Tenacity is what it takes to achieve space superiority. Tenacity reflects the proud journey that Ellen and I have taken, the American dream at its best. But most importantly, tenacity reflects this team right here. 1,300 professionals across America designing, building, testing, and delivering mission-proven systems that defend today and define tomorrow. In closing, Mr. Secretary and the entire delegation, thank you for your leadership in driving urgency, accountability, and mission focus. We proudly serve as a trusted partner and a disruptive innovator, building the mid-tier that is missing in our industrial base. We move at the speed of the warfighter, invest alongside the nation, break vendor lock, delivering open systems for the warfighter, ensuring space superiority for generations to come. Now, I can't wait to hear our great secretary, who is leading the charge to transform the defense industrial base, eliminating bureaucracy, and put our warfighter first. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War.
Well, Fadi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that incredible introduction. Thank you both for welcoming us here to your incredible facility. How are we doing today, Patriots? You know, it always works the other way. I come here to motivate you, and you end up motivating us. On behalf of the entire War Department, we came here with a simple message for all of you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for having the backs of our warfighters, of the men and women who ruthlessly defend our freedom every single day. Because what you're building right here on this factory floor with your own two hands is critical to the 21st century arsenal of freedom. You are the patriots ensuring our warriors are never in a fair fight. You give them the tools to project absolute lethality against the enemy wherever they are and whenever we need to. We cannot do this without you. Out of code and composites, you've built an incredible spacecraft. The Wright brothers' first flight was just a little over a century ago. What on earth would they make of this? How could this be possible, they would say, in such a short amount of time? Well, I'll tell you, through pure, unadulterated American ingenuity and competition. Through the blood, sweat, and tears of the best workforce in the world and the best workforce in human history. American software engineers, assembly mechanics, innovators of all kinds working to deliver peace through strength on behalf of their fellow citizens. Because for generations, the battle was fought on land, in the air, and subsea. But today, the ultimate high ground, the single most decisive battlefield of this century and the centuries to come, is hundreds of miles above our heads. Make no mistake, this fight for space is the fight for the future of the world as we know it. And right here in Colorado, in the heart of America, you are forging the instruments of absolute and unquestioned American space dominance, which is what we require. You, the builders, the engineers, the technicians of Sierra Space, are writing the next chapter of American power. And that mission comes with a non-negotiable mandate from the Department of War and from President Trump to build more and build faster, to cut red tape and to invest up front. Because unlike this company, and for far too long, much in Washington, D.C., especially in some ways in the aerospace industry, it was a giant swamp. A cozy club of bloated, over-budget prime contractors who got rich by failing the American people and our warfighters. They moved at a snail's pace, led by CEOs who cared more about their stock options and golden parachutes than about delivering for the men and women on the front lines. They got slow, they got comfortable, and they got fat, selling us yesterday's technology tomorrow. For decades, before President Trump, we were betrayed by a corrupt, self-serving, bipartisan consensus in Washington, a globalist so-called elite who told us that it was progress to gut your industrial heartland and ship our factories and jobs overseas. While they shipped their champagne in Davos, they lectured you and me, the American workers, that American manufacturing was a thing of the past. They told us that the global community, where we depended on our adversaries as the very parts that fueled our military, was somehow to our benefit. The so-called experts in their ivory towers and the scribblers at the Wall Street Journal all read from the same script. Outsourcing is the future, they proclaimed. Let them tell that to the workers and the patriots of Sierra Space. Let them say that to the machinists who shape metal with American hands. Let them say that to the technicians who wire the complex machines for our arsenal of freedom, like the Dream Chaser, the Life Habitat, and the Vortex engine. The critical satellites that serve as the eyes and ears in the cosmos. Let them say that to the programmers and the engineers who are outthinking and outbuilding every competitor on Earth. You are not here shuffling paper for Wall Street. You are here on this factory floor building the very machines that will guarantee our nation's survival for your kids and grandkids and mine. You are living, breathing proof that the globalist lie was just that, a lie. You prove every single day that when we unleash American industry, when we finally unleash our raw, competitive, patriotic spirit, America always wins. When we compete, we win. When we innovate, we win. If we go fast, we win. And that is the bedrock principle of our War Department under President Trump. We are in, make no mistake about it, our job is to be in an ongoing, never-ending war of attrition against the Pentagon bureaucracy to unleash you so that you can unleash our warfighters. No more excuses. I've told our staff right here, said we are in a war of attrition against our own bureaucracy for the next 3 years, and we intend to win it. We will outwork them every single day. No more delays, no more allowing wealthy executives to line up their pockets with stock buybacks while the factory floor crumbles and our warriors wait for the tools that they need. We are done sacrificing our industrial power and national sovereignty for the profits of a tiny, disconnected elite in Washington. We are equipping our warriors for the future right here, right now, with parts made in the USA, and we're doing it at light speed. You see, President Trump's entire agenda is built on a few core common sense principles. The first is America and Americans first. And that means we protect your jobs, your security, and your family's future before we think about any foreign country or globalist peacekeeping project. We invest in factories in Colorado, not in China. It means American strength is forged by American steel and built by American workers, full stop. And let's be honest, what it means for you, it should mean more money in your pockets, higher wages, a better, more affordable life. The golden age of American manufacturing demands that the patriots who build it share in that very same prosperity. We're talking about real competitive compensation that creates a better life for you and your family today and a more secure future for our children tomorrow. President Trump's second principle is peace through strength. At the War Department, that's our job, the Strength Department. Our goal is deterrence, so absolute that our adversaries tremble at the very thought of even challenging us. And space is the ultimate arena where that strength will be proven all of the time. Whoever controls space controls the fight. It's that simple. And President Trump's announcement of a $1.5 trillion investment in our national security for 2027 sent a shockwave around the world. No, we're not messing around. We will spend every dime of it wisely, and we're already doing so. And as I'm sure many of you have already heard, even before that, the One Big Beautiful Bill provides unprecedented billions of dollars in investments in America's military space capabilities, sending the demand signal industry needs to see that we are investing and investing big. Speaking of which, I want to take a moment to recognize two of Colorado's finest joining us today who helped make this stuff possible. Representative Jeff Crank of Colorado's 5th Congressional District. Thank you. And Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado's 4th Congressional District. Lauren, thank you. We need that support in Congress, and they're there. We appreciate their support and work in getting that One Big Beautiful Bill to the President's desk for signature. Because with that signature came a massive $25 billion down payment on the Golden Dome for America, a revolutionary shield of space-based weapons and sensors, a vigilant constellation of next-generation sensors and satellites that will see every threat from every corner of the globe, paired with a network of space-based interceptors ready to neutralize any ballistic missile, any hypersonic weapon, any drone long before it threatens our homeland. That's how we establish complete and total orbital supremacy. That's how we guarantee the safety and security of the American people for generations to come. And we will continue to look for partners who can deliver the most advanced space infrastructure and deliver it fast. Capabilities like the ones you are building right here as we speak. Because we cannot afford to have a fair fight in space. I'm not interested in orbital equity or orbital parity. We want and we demand orbital and American dominance, plain and simple. Our job is to provide that hammer, sometimes at midnight. And if deterrence fails and we have to fight, then we're going to fight to win. And we'll fight overwhelmingly with absolute resolve, which is pun intended. President Trump's third principle is just raw common sense. Common sense tells us that we cannot project power from a hollowed-out industrial base. Common sense tells us that our unity is our strength, not what our faces look like. Common sense tells us that in order to win, we must unleash our warfighters with the lethal tools that only you can build. And that's why we're on this Arsenal of Freedom tour. We're sending a clear, sustained demand signal to American industry that we want the best and we need it yesterday. That the era of weakness is over. The disastrous retreat from Afghanistan, the preventable war in Ukraine, the invasion of our southern border, those days are gone. From day one of the Trump administration, the War Department reestablished deterrence, and our enemies have learned a hard lesson. If you challenge the United States of America, you will pay a terrible price. As President Trump has said, if you mess around with us, if you want to try to do something bad to us, we're going to do things to you that you have never felt before, end quote. Maduro found that out just last month. A raid so sophisticated, so audacious, that no other military on earth could even dream of accomplishing it. President Trump has restored our nation's unique power, and it is rooted in the types of capabilities that only you can build. Because none of this is possible without the talent and precision that begins on factory floors just like this one. You are the patriots who pour your sweat and your genius into the systems that give us the overwhelming, soul-crushing advantage over our enemies. But it's still not fast enough. Trust me, I hear about it from President Trump every time I'm in the Oval Office. Pete, go faster. Come on. So under President Trump, we are lighting a fire under the old way of doing business. We're flipping the status quo on its head. Urgency is our new currency. Speed, efficiency, and ferocious competition. We're holding the big defense contractors to the highest possible standard, just as we do our warfighters. President Trump's executive order on January 7th put an end to the excuses. No more monopolies. No more waiting 15 years for the perfect solution that never arrives. No more egregious executive bonuses while falling behind on your projects. No more prioritizing Wall Street over the warfighter. The companies we invest in must invest in themselves and put their workers and warriors first. That's how you build an actual arsenal of freedom. And I'm looking out at an audience out here that lives the spirit of that executive order every day. Patriots committed to the highest standard. Patriots committed to Made in America. Because in the end, I ultimately don't care what company name is on the side of satellites, on the side of engines, or on the side of space planes. The only thing we ask ourselves is it the best? Can it scale, and can we scale it fast enough? And I'm here to tell you today that if you build the best, if you build the fastest, and at cost for the American taxpayer, you're going to win. If you don't, then I'll make sure you lose. That is the promise of President Trump's War Department. I'm not invested in a single company. Don't care. Don't care who wins. It doesn't matter how many lobbyists you have or accountants you have in Washington. We will evaluate, open the aperture so that everyone can compete. Not just the ones that have been sitting at the trough of the Pentagon for decades. Everyone has an opportunity to compete so that we can get the best. And your leadership gets it. Your leadership gets it. And for the other guys, some of the big guys, it's taken them a while. But they're getting there. They, like you, know that this can't be about dividends. It's got to be about dominance. Sierra Space took that demand signal for speed and innovation, and you are running with it. And we appreciate that. I said it once, and I'll say it again. We're here because of you, because of the best workforce in the world. Innovators, builders, problem solvers. Helmets and hard hats. In all of these events, we've got uniformed members somewhere usually near the front. And I like to think of the visual that way. You got our warfighters across all services in the front, and they're leading the charge with the exquisite systems that you provide. But behind them are all of you in black t-shirts, all of you in hard hats, all of you having their back, investing in the capabilities that they need on the front lines. So our message to every company, this one and every company in America, large and small, is join us. Go fast. Take risks. Today, the President demands that you invest in your plants and your people, and that our warfighters have what they need when they need it. So we're committed to standing shoulder to shoulder with you, because we can't deter the next conflict, a conflict that will ultimately be won by the final frontier of space, without the skill, the grit, and the patriotism that I know exists in this room. Built right here at Sierra Space by all of you. The systems you build are more than just complex hardware and software. They are a promise. A promise to every soldier, every sailor, every airman, Marine, and Guardian that they will always have the ultimate high ground. You know, after Operation Absolute Resolve was completed, the world marveled at the accomplishment. Grabbing an indicted individual out of the most fortified house in the most fortified compound inside the most fortified base inside the capital city halfway around our hemisphere in the middle of the night before they even knew we were there. Something no other country could do. And I remember sitting at the podium the next morning with the President and others, and I could help but just say, you just witnessed the guts, grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. They came back home. They did something incredible. They came back safe. And what protected them and what gave them the information they needed was American dominance from above. The kind of dominance you are building in America and by Americans. And when President Trump spoke over the radio to the warriors who went down there to Caracas, he said over the radio, good luck, men, and Godspeed. And I know that you make your own luck because you're great at what you do. But I wish you Godspeed as well, because we need the skills that you're honing here. Our job is to ensure that you have everything you need in that process. Again, a war of attrition against the bureaucracy that opens up the aperture so that everyone can compete. Then the ball is fully in your court. We're here to serve you. You're here to serve the troops. And if we get that right, they get what they need to deter. And if they need to fight, they get what they need to fight to win, which is what the War Department is focused on. So back to where we started. Thank you. Thank you for being in the fight with us, for standing shoulder to shoulder with us. Keep building, keep innovating, and go fast. God bless you and our warriors and our great republic. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.